y equals x times 3x minus 12 to the fourth power. And what is the derivative? Now you could technically multiply this one out 4 times, then multiply it by x, then take the derivative. It's not undoable. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to use the product rule. F of x equals to what? X. And g sub x, g sub x always goes on the bottom, not on the right side, is what? 3x minus 12 to what power? To 4. What's the derivative of that? 1. What's the derivative of this? Now notice that's why you have to do the homework every week, because that was from last, actually, in this section. The derivative of this is what? 4 times 3x minus 12 to what power? 3 times the derivative of what's on the inside, which is 3. So when you simplify that, that's what? 12 times 3x minus 12 cubed.
36? No. I thought you were bringing it through.
Nope, can't. That's power 3. So now we have to use what we learned in section 3.3, the product rule. You're multiplying. So it's f times g sub prime plus g times f prime. F is x, and g sub prime is 12 times 3x minus 12 cubed plus g, which is 3x minus 12 to the fourth, times f prime, which is 1. Now I want to show you quickly how I would have simplified if that was me. What do you notice these two terms have in common? 3x minus 12 to what power? 3. This has 3 of them, this has 4. So if you factor 3 of them out of this side, what's left in this group here? The 12x, the 12 and the x. That's it, this times this, that's what's left. What's left in that one? 3x minus 12, one of them, right? What's 12x plus 3x? 15x minus 12 times 3x minus 12 cubed. That's how I would have simplified it. Much faster.
Can you pull out like 15x minus 12?
You can factor 3 out of each one, yes.
Yeah.
If you want to factor 3 out of each one, you could. 5x minus 4, 3x minus 12 cubed. So it really doesn't matter which one, because you can't really do any more with it. So you can stay with this, you can go with that. Not sure which way they want it there.
You could take the 3 out of the 3x minus 12.
Can't.
Right.
Well, you could, but leave it inside that, the
You
cube.
gotta leave it inside.
You can't take it outside that, but you can leave it inside that as a cube. Yeah, you can. But it doesn't do, but the only thing you can do, yep, make it 3 cubed, which is what? 27? You want to move it to the front? Most likely they probably didn't do that, but you could do it.
They took the first answer.
They took this one? Yeah. But I mean, all these suggestions are valid. They're correct. Someone said take the 3 out of this. As long as you keep it inside that, still cube. 3 cubed is 27. Now if you want to take it outside, 27 times 3, that's 81. Make that an 81? Yeah, you can. Now, you probably, I don't know if you heard me say that or not, but I'm not really a fan of the quotient rule, because I think, I don't know, it's a pain. So if I can get rid of it, I'm always going to attempt to do that. Now, me personally, I said, nope, no, I'm not doing the quotient rule here. I'm not. Because I can rewrite that as what? 7x times, instead of dividing by, x squared plus 9 to what power? Negative 1/2. Notice that's the power of 1/2 in the bottom. You bring it to the top, becomes a negative 1/2. And I can use the product rule. F of x equals 7x. The derivative of that is what? 7, right? G sub x is x squared plus 9 to the negative 1/2. And the derivative of that, negative 1/2 times x squared plus 9 to what power? Negative 3/2. Go subtract 1 from the power times the derivative, what's on the inside, which is the 2x. And if you simplify this quickly, that 2 cancels this 2. So you end up with negative x times x squared plus 9 to the negative 3/2. Again, the product rule says what? F times g sub prime plus g times f prime. That's what the derivative is. F is what? 7x g sub prime negative x times x squared plus 9 to the negative 3/2 plus g sub x, that's this one, times f prime, which is 7. I can factor a 7. I can take a 7 and one of these actually out. Notice this. Now you're going to probably give you a headache with this one. What's left if I take this? I like to start with the positive, so I'll put this one first. If you take all of that out, what's left in it? There's a 1 here. There's a minus here. I took the 7 out. What's x times x? X squared. Guess what's left here? X squared plus 9 to what power?
Negative 1/2.
No, negative, because it's negative 2 over 2, so it's negative 1.
How about negative 1? Yep. Because when you multiply, what do you do with the exponents? You add them, right? So you can write that here. 1 minus x squared over x squared plus 9 here if you want to. That piece here. And you can write this as what? 7 over the square root of x squared plus 9. I have no idea how they want the answer. I'll probably leave it like this. But that's an ugly problem regardless what you do there.
How you did the second step? How you did the second step?
When you multiply, you add your exponents. So you want it to be negative 3/2. You already have a minus 1/2 in the front. So the only way to get negative 3/2 if you make that a minus 1. It becomes minus 1/2 minus another 1 minus a 3/2. Hopefully I don't have, okay. There's not many of these ugly ones. Good. This is a quick one, the 15. I get 3 after the 15, 3 more. Y equals what? X squared e to the negative 3x. Product rule. F of x equals what? X squared. What's the derivative of that? 2x. G sub prime. Gotta be careful here. That's e to the u, right? What's the derivative? Oh, that's g, not g sub prime. What's g sub prime? E to the negative 3x times what? Times the derivative of this, which is negative 3. The derivative e to the u. So now again, the product rule, f times g sub prime plus g times f prime, all divided by g squared. Oh, there's no division, product rule. I am getting tired too. I can't make any more mistakes. I'm out of this, so I gotta be careful now. Boy. Now. F, which is what? X squared. G sub prime, which is what? Negative 3 e to the negative 3x. Plus G, which is e to the negative 3x. Times F prime, which is 2x. I'll put this one first. 2x e to the negative 3x minus 3x squared e to the negative 3x. I could take out x e to the negative 3x out if I want to. Or at least take e to the negative. I can take x e to the negative 3x out. If I do that, what's left? 2 minus 3x. They'd probably leave it like this. Or just take out, they could just take out e to the negative 3x and just leave the whole thing like 2x minus 3x squared. I don't think they care if you take this out or take the x out. I mean, if you want to factor it completely, this is complete, but I'm sure the software doesn't care. Oh, I like 7. 7 is one of those, like, depends how you see it. I mean, that's 17. 17. Nope, 17. Now, when you see that, your first reaction is quotient rule, fraction. You don't have to. You factor 1/9 out. What are you going to have? E to the x minus e to the minus x. Now, what's the derivative? Here's the 1/9 in the front. That's a constant. What's the derivative e to the x? Here's the minus. What's the derivative e to the minus x? E to what? Negative x times the derivative of negative x, which is negative 1. So what are you going to have? 1/9 e to the x plus e to the minus x. Or e to the x plus e to the minus x over 9. No quotient rule needed, nothing. Two more. I probably could fit the 18 here. Six x e to the 5x minus e to the 6x. You know what? If I saw that, me personally, I would factor out e to the 6x out. If you factor e to the 6x, oh, is that 5x or 6x? No, they're both 6x, my mistake. I wrote 5, I'm looking at the computer, 6x on both. If I factor e to the 6x out, what's left? 6x minus the 1. You can use now the product rule.
So much easier than the
Quotient, yep. So f of x is what? E to the 6x. G sub x, 6x minus 1. What's the derivative of this? E to the 6x times the derivative of 6x, which is what? 6. I'll put it in the front. And what's the derivative of g? 6. Again, y sub prime, it's f times g sub prime plus g times f prime. F is e to the 6x times 6. That'll be 6 e to the 6x plus g times f prime. I can take the 6 out, or 6 e to the 6x times 6x minus 1. Oh, factor, right? If you factor out 6 e to the 6x, what is left here? 1 plus 6x minus 1, right? What happens to the 1 minus 1? 6 times 6, 36x e to the 6x. And the last one. Woo-hoo. I have to go put them on YouTube after that. I'll be here till probably 9:30.
Takes you that long, really?
Yep.
Well, thank you for
Sometimes some of the videos, honestly, they take about one video last week. It took me over half an hour for one video. I had 6 of them to ship, over 2 hours to ship them. And other days it takes like about 5 minutes. You know, so it depends how busy.
Your late night traffic on YouTube is probably a lot higher than it would be in the morning or something. Well, thank you for spending extra time. Really
No problem.
It makes a huge difference that you guys.
E to the 7. Is that e to the 7? Oh, this is a nice one. What's e to the 7?
E to the 7 times.
No. Just a number. That's a constant.
Oh, man.
Right? If that was 4 to the 7, is not a constant?
That's true.
So that's just a constant, sits in the front. That's number 19. What's the derivative of the natural log of x? 1 over x. E to the 7 over x. Done. I like this problem. I was thinking of the product rule, but I realized there's no actually x's on e to the x.